about 7 different areas or things to be mindful of as you have tough conversations at work with or currently in the legal field. That these times crop up that we need to have a confrontation, but we have to set down some ground rules for ourselves that or and draw that line in the sand that people should not cross. And having that conversation can seem like a mountain to get over, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, so start this that was not pleasant, and it was against you, and you want to discuss it. So you ask for a meeting, but before the meeting, you do your homework and you list out those items and you cover them. And when you're in there and you've got those listed out, it may be that the attorney was out of line in their behavior in some capacity. And it could be they were screaming, and that's really out of line, period, for anybody to be doing that against an employee. There's no reason for us to be screaming at vendors. I've wanted to, but in one law firm, I was responsible for handling the ordering of supplies, office supplies, but also the maintenance of the copier, which was a total lemon, and had to finally get the vendor to take that copier out of my site because the vendor was showing up and wanting to have meetings about this, but not solving the problem. And I'm all about, as paralegals, we have to be the ultimate problem solvers. So, I did not want my boss in on the solution. I wanted to handle it. So, and it worked out fine. So, the conversation, line it out, the points that are important. There shouldn't be 15 points. Okay? And no raising the voice, but breathe. When you go into this meeting, you're going to be nervous more than likely, or you may be angry. You're going to have to leave both of those at the door if at all possible, especially the anger. Because before you have a meeting like this, you should give yourself either some hours or a day to just detox. And for me, I had to handle something right away, but I was telling myself, do not threaten anybody. Do not make it sound like it's a threat where they may perceive it as that. But just because I was telling someone I'm not tolerating that behavior anymore, but I did not want to raise my voice because they might use that against me. So be careful with all of that. You have to set the tone because they are unable to set the tone. Don't let them set the tone. They don't have the wherewithal to set it because they've been off the charts already with behavior. So get all that listed out. That's number one. You're breathing before you go into that meeting. Nothing, what will be will be. When you bring things to the surface that are not good, sometimes your job can be at stake. So always know what's going on around you in the job market. But you should not accept certain behaviors. So breathe before you start going into all this and calm yourself. Number 3, just state the facts. Say, I'd like to go over some things and then let's talk, and I'd like to line those out. Don't have a whole slew of them. Just go over the most important ones. Give respect. You should expect to have respect. You don't get it sometimes, but you take the high road and you give respect. Okay? Number 5. You're getting into the nitty-gritty of the powerful, the most important question of this confrontation, this nice confrontation. And that it could be that you are wanting to talk about the raise that you think was too low. You want to talk about the anger that was displayed in a screaming match, or just screaming, one-sided screaming, and what you're going to ask is that this not happen again. That's going to be the question. It's not, you're asking, I'd like to ask that this never happen again. They may say, I can't promise that. You say, well, I would like that to be the case, and just be quiet then. You state the facts and don't be afraid of stopping the talk. Just state your facts, ask that main question. I'd like to know, it may be the fact that you didn't get a raise, period. I'd like to know why I didn't get a raise. In that case, in a law firm, you might not even be speaking to the attorney. You might be speaking to the administrative law office manager, the administrator. So depending on who it is, the attorney may not want to have that conversation. So, but ask, there's no harm in asking the attorney, were you dissatisfied with my work in any capacity? And if they come out and say yes, you will, say, that would be great to know ahead of time so that I can improve it before the review time because I wasn't aware of it or something, that it's something that you were not aware of that took you by surprise. But if it's not a surprise, that you were deficient in some areas, then you should not be surprised that you didn't get a raise, right? So the confrontations, but they can be done in a nicer way. You have to set the tone for that. So the silence, you state your facts, you ask that question, and then sit back. Questions on the witness stand in a courtroom or in a deposition, let the witness answer. And sometimes the witness will tie themselves up in knots verbally because they won't stop talking. And so don't be afraid of the silence. Stop talking and let them answer you. And don't look down, look at them as they're answering. Be present. Don't let any distractions stop you from going the full mile. When you've set an agenda, you set a goal for this meeting that you're having, accomplish that goal and have that written out. What do you want to accomplish in this meeting? What do you want to talk about? And don't do nervous speaking, where you're trying to fill those silence gaps with chatter. It's not okay. So those are the 7 areas of how to handle that type of meeting that you can lose sleep over it. I certainly have. I've gone in regarding screaming, gone in regarding different things that had occurred in the law firm. I've left for the day because of screaming, because of a personal relationship between the attorney and someone else, and the screaming was nuts, and so I left for the day. The attorney did not fire me or anything of the sort. I knew I could leave for the day, okay? But I will not put up with that type of behavior anywhere. Nope. I draw a line in the sand with that. It might happen once, but it's not going to happen again where I get to watch it because I won't be there. I will give my notice. I will find a job first, and then I will give my notice. So it's worth it to have those meetings to say that was disturbing to me, and get it all out on the table. They're hard meetings. And it might be that the attorney's not used to being told that or being talked to about that. And I did talk to at least 3 attorneys about that in my career, where they were apologizing. Every one of them apologized. But I knew that I wouldn't be around them much longer because I didn't want that atmosphere. So you take the high road, you give respect. You don't always get it, but you give respect and just make it known that you don't put up with certain behaviors. And that goes a long way. And sometimes that takes a private meeting, And it's also about you're unhappy was then asked to head up, but the first 2 were handled by an attorney, and they went for 3 hours each time, and we had a lot of work to do outside of that staff meeting. And I said, just let me handle this. The attorney claimed that we weren't getting projects done and work done that needed to be done. We had a list of all that, and I told her I just said I beg to differ on that score. but there is a list of steam ahead on all of it. It just takes time. And one of them was creating a kitchen in the basement and setting up the basement as a full-fledged office space. So that was part of our base. So yeah, we were doing that too. But I respectfully disagreed with this attorney. And then I was asked to take over the staff meetings that went on once a week so we could keep on top of everything. And that worked. And we did 1 hour staff meetings. So speaking up gave me the leadership. You have to be willing to take it. But I was willing to take it, but I didn't act like the haughty leader. An agenda was out there and the staff participated and they all had input because we were all in this together. So it did pay off. All right, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this helps. Any questions, comments, post them below. I love hearing from you. Say hello. So thanks for being here live or on the replay. Either way, glad you're here. And just a reminder, the first step in becoming a paralegal and getting into this field is to look at my book, Legal Break-In, which is, I call it truly gives you the real insider's view. And number two, if you go to my website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and look to the left, up above, click on a tab that says Pop-Up Paralegal Webinar of the Month, and that's free. And you will enroll if you'd like, and then be sure to check your spam folder later in the day, and you will get free training in a private group. It's pre-recorded videos, so don't feel I'm going to be in there managing you. I'm not. But that's just to help you. And then that's number two, that free training. Number three is in May 8th to the 15th is the registration for the official registration to start the Paralegal Inner Circle class. So when you're on the website, look over to the right on the top and you'll see Paralegal Inner Circle class info, and that will give you info. And scroll down on that page and you'll see a big blue button it says click here or learn more, and get on the wait list for that class. And that just means that you'll get an email shortly, probably this week, and it just reminds you that the registration's coming up. That's all that. And there'll be additional training in those emails that you get. Not many emails, believe me, I don't like them either. And but be sure to always check your spam folder for my emails, okay? Because they like to hide in there. And that is it for today. Have a great one, and I'll talk to you in the next live video.